Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. We back with another nice little video for the fan base. Not just for the Rockets fan base. This is really just an NBA topic in general, but we really gonna focus on the Rockets topic right now. Coaching accountability. But before we go ahead and get started, we're gonna go around the room and everybody gonna tell you where to find them at. Mr. Chris Gorman going to shoot at him.
Hey, I think all my information is down there. Come find me on X, Twitter. Come talk some Rockets basketball, and maybe I'll talk back.
Already. Mr. Drip God, shoot at him.
Yeah, you know where to find me at the TownRundown, YouTube, X, as well as Instagram. We're doing a lot of things out over there, man. We just dropped an episode yesterday, so check that out. We do a Pistons preview and all that. And then you can follow me at Drip2Piece_JWT on X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch as well.
Already, man. Y'all already know where to find me at too. It's the AK Infinity. Follow me on Twitter at AKInfinity_VVS. Make sure y'all hit that like video, subscribe to the Rockets Round Robin channel, and leave a comment down below for us and let us know what you think about what we're talking about. All right.
Do that.
This is where we about to probably piss people off, and that's okay. But yeah, so there's some talk of benching certain players that are not playing well. There's talk of why certain players are not shooting well, why Rockets can't finish at the basket, and all kind of different stuff. Certain things we can blame coaching for. Some things is really on the players though. But I'm gonna go ahead and start, bro. Let me go ahead and get it. Right. Let me go and get it kicking.
Get out the way.
Let me go and get it. There's certain things that you can put on at the coach's feet, man. We've seen the difference between a Coach Silas regime and an Ime Udoka regime. Under Coach Silas, it just looked like anybody could just come in and do whatever they want, however they want. No structure, no hierarchy, no nothing. It's just roll it out and just figure it out. Under Coach Ime Udoka, you see structure, you see order, you see more chemistry, you see organization. Now, the execution of it all may not look pretty, but you know what you're gonna get when it comes to the Rockets. You're gonna get a hard-nosed defensive team. They're gonna dog you out on that end. They're gonna fight for everything. They might scrap with you a little bit too. And when the Rockets are not playing well, when they go on these dry spells and stuff, I can blame that on the coaches. Because call a timeout, draw up a play, or switch up the matchups because you know that the other team is going to run certain things with whoever they got on the floor, depending on whatever your game plan is. That's on the coaches. Rotations are on the coaches. Things that are not on the coaches, though, coach ain't shooting the ball for you, bro. Coach didn't turn the ball over. Coach ain't missing layups. Coach ain't missing free throws. Coach ain't missing a rotation. However, if you constantly don't know what your rotations are, even though you've been practicing it, that's also not on the coaches either. It's on you as a player. I don't know. What y'all think on that, man? Any one of y'all can go. Yeah,
you go, Gorman. You got this.
I agree with you for the most part. I think it kind of depends on how big of a sample we really get to talk about here. With Ime, we have a year and then 10 games. And now last year's tone was a lot different to start the season than it is now. Now we're looking for playoffs. We're looking for wins. Last year was a little bit more about developmental. So it's kind of hard to really decide on where Ime is, really attacking on what his points of attention are and things like that. Like, yes, accountability should always be a coach's friend. Everybody should practice accountability, but does that go all the way around? Does that go for the vets? Does that go, how long does the leash get extended? And then how long in that game time frame does that get extended? I mean, I think a lot of the big question is Fred VanVleet regressing, or is this just starting to see all of his limitations really being highlighted because the other guys are playing better? And, do we give 10 games and make a judgment on that and start making changes? That's the big question.
It's been 10 games, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Do we take those 10 games sample size from knowing what the actual goal of this team is? Do we, judge them based on that? has Fred VanVleet given you longer than 10 game leash for maybe less than 35 minutes? About less than 30. I think that's where it kind of gets for me is the minutes. I asked for a little bit more balance, and I just haven't seen it just yet. So I think, yes, I agree with you that a lot of this stuff is on the players, but, he can put them in better positions to succeed and, have better players taking certain shots than he does now.
That's a very good point. I'll say this too, to add to what you're saying. When I'm watching the Rockets on offense, I have no idea what it is that their bread and butter is supposed to be. I know what they want it to be, but I know what also it should be, because the numbers are saying two different things. The numbers are saying what they run most frequently is the damn pick and roll with Alperen Sengun and Fred. That's what they run the most. It's not the most effective play we have. The most effective play we have is dribble handoff. We don't run that. We run that at like bottom third in the league when we're like fourth in success rate in scoring. Why wouldn't we run? That's on coaching. That part ain't on the players. That's on Ime and them. Like, bro, this is working. Why you not doing more of it? For what reason? You have no reason. And if you do have a reason, somebody in the media got to ask and be like, hey, look, we see that you run this play the most effectively, but you don't run it as much as this other play that you run it that's not as effective. Why? Explain yourself.
Well, when you say that, like when dribble handoff, I mean, I don't know that I'd want any more dribble handoffs going to Fred. I just don't see that as being an effective action.
It ain't gotta be Fred.
I know that's my point. Is if it is the most effective, how effective is it with Fred? How effective is it with Jalen?
From player to player. Okay, yeah, I don't.
I would like to know. If we break down those type of numbers, I would like to know on who the action is being broke from. I mean, we're not getting in our sets until 12 in the shot clock, and that's a direct correlation to Fred VanVleet. Him and Sengun are the best at playing in the half court. That doesn't mean that everybody's the best at playing in the half court. That doesn't mean that we can't get a few transition buckets. It doesn't mean that he can't push it ahead a little bit and see if we can get something that way. I just been noticing we're playing a lot of Fred VanVleet basketball, and I wonder if it's more of the Ime mentality of a defensive scheme. I think he plays for defense. I think they'll run the ball 3 straight downs so that they chew off enough clock so the fourth quarter comes that it's 6-6. He's more of a defensive-minded coach all the way around, and I think it's bleeding over into his offensive scheme. He would rather have guys out there that aren't going to create turnovers and create loose buckets in transition rather than he'd have somebody out there that could put the ball in the hole.
Okay. Now that's pretty.
Damn.
I've been thinking about this, man. I've been watching a lot of film on their actions. And I mean, coming out of timeouts, if you go back and look, coming out of timeouts, most of the time it's Fred VanVleet initiating the action. And if he has the option, he will shoot it. And where I think he does need to shoot, I don't think he needs to be shooting in high leverage situations. To me, or I don't really think he needs the ball in his hand, to be honest with you. But if you notice, to my point is, coming out of timeouts, there's a lot of Dylan Brooks, there's a lot of Fred VanVleet. Those are the guys that he trusts. So I think those are the guys he's, given the leash to go out there and fail it.
So, real quick, I just pulled this up right quick. So, play type, pick and roll man. Guess what we rank in frequency in the league?
Roll man, pretty well. Does that count short roll or roll all the way?
It doesn't exactly state specifically, but I'm assuming when the roll man takes the shot. That's what I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's just an assumption. That's the only thing that I think would make sense. But we can just go off of that right quick.
I would say pretty low in the league.
What you think, Drip God?
Yeah, eye test shows. Yeah, I'd say probably 20th, 23rd.
First.
First time for being wrong for everything, you know what I mean?
Now, if I ask you the score frequency where do you think we rank?
That's what I meant.
Oh, no. As far as frequency and how we run it, we number 1 in the league.
Yeah, they run it
by a landslide.
That's the way they get LP the ball. That's Fred's. That's the way they decide when they say, "Hey, let's get LP the ball." That's the first thing they do. They go to pick and roll, get him in the short roll, and then he goes.
Does his thing. Yeah, I would say.
But
for this, we're bottom of the barrel.
You know what? That's a really surprising stat to me because, I've always loved LP's passing, and especially in that short roll. Man, he was so dangerous the first couple years in the league of that, anybody cuts on that short roll, he was hitting them. He was spraying it. It surprises me to hear that we're first in taking the shot on the roller.
Now, I think a problem too is we don't have nobody who's hitting that corner 3. So for him to even be effective enough on the short roll on the pass, somebody has to cut, but the lane is already clogged enough as it is because they know we can't hit shots. But real quick, scoring frequency on that pick and roll man, we 16th. So we run that play to death, and it's just mediocre.
Let me add some context.
Yeah. Context is very important. So yeah,
I just added. I posted about this. Is that we talk about Şengün and having struggles at the rim, but go look at the opponents. Man, we have faced 6 guys that are 7'2" or better. Chet, Edie, and 3 times Wemby. Then you add in Gafford and Lively on that mix. I know he's not much.
He told him up.
Yeah. He's getting shot like 91% in the restricted area all this year. But anyway, what I'm saying is that LP has had some very, very tough matchups. That's hard to score over. So if you're going to take those shots, and they need LP to take those shots, they need him to be aggressive. We saw what a non-aggressive LP looked like the first couple of games. That aggressive LP attacking those big men, they gotta have him take some of those shots. Sometimes
so that's on the player, right?
Yes. Okay.
All
yes.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
Now,
agree.
When LP is still hesitating at the 3-point line, who was that on? Ime or the player?
LP.
When Reed Shepherd is not shooting at the 3-point line when he's butt naked, who is that on? Ime or the player?
LP.
So what I'm getting at is that's funny. But what I'm getting at is there are certain things we can blame Ime for, but a lot of the biggest problems we have is not on him. It's on the players. Shots falling, okay, I get running certain sets is on Ime, but if you smoking layups, what Ime supposed to do about that? He supposed to bench. If he bench you, you're gonna be mad. The whole fan base gonna be mad. He bench. Let's say he bench Jalen. Half the fan base is gonna be upset because he's missing layups.
Me included.
You know what I'm saying? Like, which is understandable. Now, if his replacement isn't doing any better at what you benched Jalen for, then what was the point? That's on. Who was that on at that point? If you're gonna, if you bench a player and his replacement ain't doing no better, who that on?
Yeah, it's just that's on the Stone. That's on your roster construction.
Hell,
that's on Stone.
You know what?
Yes, it's on the front office coaching. Yes.
You know what? That's not a bad observation. You think about it, but at the same time, we hype up our young guys so much. You would think that there's certain things we shouldn't be complaining about still at this point. I get it.
When you live in a bubble and all you see is Rockets information for so long, you're just being fed Rockets information. This roster is going to do this and this roster is going to do that. And then big media casts are saying, well, the Rockets could be good. You just hear Rockets good, top 5th seed. What were we saying all season? Top 5th seed. That's what happens.
That's still possible.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's what happens.
But watch some, when we're watching the Rockets, we want to see Jalen Green, we want to see Alperen Şengün, we want to see Tari Eason, we want to see these young guys succeed. And when we see Fred VanVleet hit a big shot, we kind of almost just go, oh, he got, we don't call it lucky, but we're just kind of like, I know there's people out there that go, well, I kind of wish Jalen would have at least taken that shot. And I think
Hell yeah.
we're really looking for these young guys to be the ones, we've hyped, like
To
you
be the
said,
reason.
hyped them up. Yeah, we want them to be the reason. And when Fred takes shots, good or bad, we don't like it at all, regardless. And so I think that, we just want them more to succeed rather than we would rather see, Fred succeed. And I think
trying to be conservative over there.
I'm trying. Because it frustrates me too. It does frustrate me too. It has frustrated me this year. But.
So what you're saying is you want to see less of out of timeouts, Fred VanVleet shucking up 3 shots immediately after the timeout, and then going to Dylan Brooks post ups is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't clear on that. So
this kind of leading into your point is talking about like who you could put in for them that would be a better select. I believe there is a better replacement for Fred VanVleet on the bench. It just matters whether or not Jalen Green can do all the Fred VanVleet type of things, whether he can calm the offense, he can get guys into their shots, whether he's not turning the basketball over. If he can do that, then Fred VanVleet would be useless. But to me, I'd rather see our young guys fail early in the season than rather see if Fred VanVleet can carry this team.
Because, let me continue exactly off that, if he leaves next season or he's just gone or whatever, and then the guys don't know what they're doing and they're like, oh my gosh, we wasted 2 years with Fred VanVleet. Yes, because the point is to be able to use Fred VanVleet that first season. This is what real basketball looks like. These are the plays we need to run. This is what we need to do. That was the growing season. This is the prove it season, to prove that you don't need Fred VanVleet, to prove you don't need Dylan Brooks, to prove that you don't need these veterans and that the young guys can take the reins and be successful without them. Is it important that the vets are impacting the game positively? Yes, of course. But I need to stop seeing clutch time and it's Fred VanVleet 3.
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks running fade over Victor Wembanyama. Like, I get that, yes, did they hit the shot? Phenomenal. I'm happy that we won the game, but I want to see Jabari take that shot so I can say Jabari has taken the leap. I need to be able to fix the agenda, okay? I need to be able to say that the rebuild was worth it. We selected the right guys, and we're winning because of it. Not, you top 3 pick. I'm tired of Fred VanVleet, bro. I love him. I think he's been so great for this franchise. I mean, if there was a way to keep him at a really small deal as a break glass guy, play Aaron Holiday role, I would love it. I would so be here for it. But it's tough. It's tough.
My question to you then is this. What needs to happen with the current roster construction in order to force Ime's hand and say, hey, look, Fred, you're going to have to take a back seat because these young dogs are biting at your feet.
We saw it for 8 games. We already saw it for 8 games this season. We've seen, they were hitting shots. They were playing well. Fred played atrocious for 8 games this season so far. And you know what Ime said? 44 minutes, 40 minutes, 39 minutes. But then Alp plays bad for 2 minutes in a stretch. And yes, I'm defending Albert Shingun right now. He played bad for 2 minutes in a stretch. And he benched him and decided to put Jeff Green, Jock Landale, Jayshawn, bro.
Hey, we ain't seen no Jayshawn Tatum. Don't even put that. Don't put that bad juju out here like that. Unless you talking about last season.
What we need to do, what needs to happen, is he needs to see that the young guys are struggling, and then he needs to coach them, saying that this is what they're doing wrong, and then keep them in, force them to make the adjustment instead of like, all right, come sit your ass down, and then watch Jeff Green play for 14 minutes. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Jeff Green plays in garbage time with Reed Shepherd maybe, because Jeff is a cool vet to have out there, and I think he deserves playing time when we're up by 55. Any other time, no. I don't care if it's the third quarter we're down 20. I don't care. I don't care if it's
you're talking about the Golden State game, because that's exactly what happened.
Exactly, that's exactly what happened. I don't care. Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday, they should not be playing at all. Respectfully, I think they're cool for the team.
But if them guys bring us back, what do you say? What do you tell if you're a coach?
Things aren't going right.
But if I'm a coach, I guess it depends on how Ime is telling them. Like, hey, you see how these guys brought us back in the game? You see how they play with energy? You see how they play with attention to detail?
You shouldn't
That
be
should have
saying
been
that
you.
anymore. That was last season. You shouldn't be saying that anymore. If they can't get in their head saying that, oh my gosh, this is how I need to play, watching the team come back while I'm on the bench. They did that all last season. Jalen did that for 3/4 of the season, half of the season last year. You shouldn't be saying that anymore. Şengün did it for multiple games last season. You shouldn't be saying that anymore. He was almost an all-star. He's making $185 million. Jalen's making, 100 M's. Like, no, there is no sitting on the bench watching your team win. Absolutely no excuse. If OKC started winning with SGA on the bench, like, are they saying the same thing? And I'm not saying I'm not making the one.
No, I see what you're saying.
Realistically, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm tired of it. No, absolutely not.
I'll say this: Jalen was only benched one game this season. I think it was
Yes.
against the Warriors.
Yep.
That
Yep.
game was.
That game was out of hands, and the game should have never been there, right? Should have never been down that far. But the Warriors are phenomenal at stopping Jalen. He averages like 11 points per game for his career, 13 points a game on 37% from the field against the Warriors. They're great at stopping him because they swarm him, and nobody else can hit a fucking shot. We watched that happen multiple times, not just last night, because we watched him drive with 7 dudes in the paint, and he's passing off to that person, and everyone's scared to shoot it.
Now let me ask y'all this. Oh no, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, one quick question now. So just so we're clear, we're asking a NBA head coach, an NBA head coach. There's what, 30 of them?
Yep.
To not attempt to win games.
Yeah, that's.
I'm
I
asking
get it.
him.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I always fall back on the fact that Ime Udoka coached for one season and then was fired. He went to the finals and was fired. If you were to think anybody would have been above, a little hanky-panky in maybe the wrong spot, you would think an NBA head
Shout out
coach,
to Ring Doorbell.
you think that an NBA head coach would get some of that leeway. It took him a year plus to get back into the league. So it is not, NBA head coaching is nails, man. That is tough. And if he's got experience in being jobless and pretty much not having an offer on the table. So asking him to kind of look at Aaron Holiday and say, you're probably our best chance to win, but Amen Thompson needs to learn to shoot. That's a tough boat, man.
I agree. 100%. I'm with you. And it's unfortunate that we've put ourselves in this situation where we have to say that. It's unfortunate that we're saying, like, looking at the roster construction, yo, Aaron Holiday, you're our best shot. Bro, we're trying to make the playoffs. We're not. No, this ain't the 2021 Houston Rockets. This is 2024, 2025 Houston Rockets.
But we want to make the playoffs, though.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying is, how is the roster so fallible, so faulted, when all season everyone did was talk about the positives? Not saying not one person, excuse me. The quiet part, right, was not said out loud, that there were very obvious flaws in lack of shooting, confidence, and attitudes throughout the entire season last year. We saw it. We saw the flaws, and we saw it in the summer league at times. And we won because of some Herculean efforts by Jalen Green in the preseason. That was a tall tale. In the first 5 games of the season here so far, it's been fourth quarter Jalen. He wears number 4 for a reason. Every single game we've played has been clutch time besides the games we get blown out. That's it. Otherwise, it's been clutch time. And then the one game we blew out the Spurs.
San Antonio,
But that's it. It's been clutch time. Every single game. 8 games this year. No, bro. What? Excuse me.
Well,
what teams have we played, and why are they pushing us this far?
Well, I mean, we thought the same thing last year when we played Orlando and we got mollywopped, and then we were like, "Oh, they actually are a really good team." But we got to remember too, man. We drafted Reed Shepherd to do what?
Shoot the ball.
Okay, Ken Whitmore last year got on the floor because he was able to do what?
Shoot the ball.
What are those 2 players doing for us this season?
One of them is soaking up minutes. Being
you see what I'm saying? That's not an Ime problem. That's on the players. Why your ass can't hit the same jump shots you've been making a career out of so far to this point? That's not on Ime. Ime is playing with the cards he has in his hand. I'm not gonna play a joker when that thing in the bank. The joker somewhere else. Somebody else got the big joker.
My issue is
do y'all think he's over accountability on these guys?
No.
He's over accountability on some guys, select few, and then doesn't have any accountability.
Is Reed not shooting because of fear of missing a shot?
No.
That's on him.
Is Jabari beyond? I know. I'm not saying whether it's beyond somebody or not, but like it is Cam. You know, Cam's getting a little bit missing a few shots, and now he gets sent down to the G League. I mean, I think people are. How frustrated would you be as if you saw Fred VanVleet shooting 28% from three and getting the leeway that he still gets? And then but the other side of the game sent down to the G League. I'm just saying that it's a very frustrating feeling. And these guys are young, man. You just like I said about coaching, and the NBA is the same way. You're a bad shooting season away from not being in the league. So, you know, what happens if you're so feared to take these shots that there might be a better one. I better make sure I'm taking that extra pass. And, you know, coach is constant on making that extra pass. You know, we
watched Reed Shepherd last night get a rebound, call it to the three, wide open. There wasn't anybody in front of him for 10 miles, and he passes it to Tari Eason down on the post with three people looking right at Tari Eason. One person was walking up, not running, not ready to close out, walking up on Reed Shepherd, a 50% three-point shooter in college. Am I expecting him to shoot 50% in three in NBA? No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's a reputation for being a shooter, and when your shooter doesn't shoot, what is that say? I think it's not necessarily just confidence. I don't think that it's necessarily someone saying, I don't want to shoot for fear of their job. I think some of these guys are being coached down.
Cam Whitmore, I'll say that.
I think they're seeing, again, oh my gosh, Fred VanVleet can go 9 of 31, and I missed 2 shots and I'm getting pulled. What the?
Oh, you know I see where you're going.
They see that, they see all of that, and they're like, well, why am I even shooting? Why even bother if I'm going to get pulled anyway?
I see what you're saying. That's valid. That's actually valid. I can't really argue with that.
How easy is it to get a shooter in rhythm playing a 10-man rotation, 9-man rotation?
Tough.
I mean, a 9-man rotation is doable because in one of them positions, like the center spot, sometimes, you know, Steven Adams will be in for like a little bit. And then sometimes they even put Jabari at the 5. Hell, they put a man at the 5 sometimes too. That's like the one position where we've played like 4 different guys, 5 different guys. You know what I'm saying? So other guys have chances to get on the floor, but when they get on the floor, they got to do something with it. I know there's another elephant in the room too. Well, I don't know what we can call it, elephant in the room quite yet, but the Jabari shooting thing, that's not helping things at all. Because his purpose out there is to be a stretch 4 and spread the floor and, you know, provide spacing and driving lanes for Jalen and Oman and, you know, have a nice little easy outlet for Alperen Sengun. If I'm Coach Ime and Jabari out there and he breaking everything and he's not even making up for it on the glass or defending, you got to come sit down, bro.
Now,
you're hurting the team.
To rebuttal that, Fred VanVleet.
Yeah,
or at times, to a lesser extent, Dylan Brooks, even when he can't hit a single shot, and then his defense for some reason actually falls off, because I think Dylan Brooks is still an overall all defensive kind of guy when he's really locked in. And we've seen it at least 2 games this season where he just doesn't even try, and he's getting these weird, stupid ass fouls that he normally doesn't get, even for Dylan Brooks. And we're seeing him pick him up, and he's still playing 30 minutes a night. But Cam Whitmore shoots poor 2 games. You DNP him 2 straight games, and you play him 6 minutes the next game. I'd be livid. I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad.
There's another thing that I've been quietly watching, and I noticed this in the offseason. And well, I actually noticed this when we first got Ime coming here. Everything that our guys did well, Ime wanted to get more or a different out of them, right? We need more well-rounded players. We need Jalen Green to defend. We need Alp to shoot. We need Tari to finish and dribble. Anyway, what I'm getting at is like he wanted to always. It was always like they were trying to learn like different parts of their game that they might. What if they're just not good at that part of the game? Like, what if Jabari doesn't need to learn to shoot to have a great handle and doesn't need to learn to get to the cup on a consistent basis? What if Jabari Smith needs to be a good 3-point shooter from the corner and be able to face up and knock down a shot 4 or 5 times a game? Like, what if Tari Eason is a great defender that, just great in transition and can knock down an open shot? Like, do they have to be built into superstars, or can they just thrive in their role and improve in their role rather than try to turn everybody into like this amazing superstar like Cam Whitmore? Can we just let Cam Whitmore score? Why does Cam Whitmore have to pass? I agree. It needs to pass a little bit so he's not.
You can't have tunnel vision though.
Right. And that I completely agree to. But man, there's a lot of times when we could have used that tunnel vision against Oklahoma City. Like, we could have used somebody that could actually attempt and attack downhill and can actually not scared to take a shot. Talking about somebody who is scared to take a shot. What about somebody that just isn't scared to shoot sometimes is a good thing to have on the floor. So I need a
Jamal Crawford. Get me a Jamal Crawford.
That's I wonder if I brought this up early in the season. I said, why can't we just throw Cam out there late in the first, and see if he's hot? If he's hot, ride that wave until he's not, and then take him out. I just like, we could use some of their guys' special assets or special talents instead of having to make everybody so perfectly well-rounded. Yeah, I mean, Cam can be a bucket getter and a little bit of a defender or something. Why does it have to be everybody be so well-rounded? So I'd interested to know what y'all think about that, because it's everybody. Everybody that has a weakness, they're like, oh, we're going to work on that. He's going to get good at it.
Yeah. Trying to plug holes that are unpluggable, I think.
So let me make sure I understand that you're right, Chris. So you saying these guys have been spending time working on their weaknesses rather than sharpening their superpower, and then by the time it's time for them to use their superpower, they are rusty. They don't have it.
What did Alp work on all summer? What did he say he worked on all summer?
He said he worked on his conditioning and
there's one thing he said he worked on all summer long.
Was it shooting?
Yep. 3-ball.
It ain't work.
What is he struggling on big time this year?
Finishing in the paint.
Around the cup. He was great last year at that. And he's struggling at that. It seems like all of our special talents for these guys kind of struggling at. Fred VanVleet able to knock down an open shot. He's shooting like 28% from
That's
three.
a very good point.
Getting to the cup, and we saw some flashes of playmaking last year that we haven't seen a ton of this year. Alperen Şengün shooting, around the basket. Jabari Smith shooting. I thought we were supposed to see this giant leap where he was going to be, on-ball guy and be able to take over a little bit. I just wonder, what do y'all think about that? Seeing all working on their weaknesses rather than trying to sharpen some of their skills.
Now, you are supposed to work on your weaknesses, but I don't know if it's the approach that they've been taking to working on those weaknesses that's, the problem now, because I hope they weren't told, don't worry about working on your scoring, your shooting, your defense, whatever, or your passing. I hope they wasn't told to do that. That's a completely different ball game. But of course, you're supposed to work on your weaknesses, but you're supposed to keep your superpower sharp.
It kind of seems like that all of those superpowers, like you mentioned, are kind of not been exactly what to expect, and pretty much all the way across the board, guys.
So let's do this. Let's do this. Who came back this year so far in them 10 games? Who came back this year better? Who came back this season better than they were last year?
Jalen.
Okay.
I think that's been pretty evident.
Yeah, that's been
all around. Like all around, he's been literally better at everything, other than making some of those tougher finishes. But then he's also hit some finishes that he definitely wasn't hitting last year. I think that's 50-50.
He been getting a BS whistle too.
Yeah. And I've seen
you got to shoot him in the head to get him into the foul line.
Yep. Yeah.
I've seen flashes of making the right pass, but I haven't seen it being done consistently.
Yeah, not really consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. If you go into the corner and you pass that same dude in the corner and he's 0-4.
Yeah, but I'm referring mostly to getting the ball to Şengün. They haven't been able to get on a great chemistry where he can consistently get the ball to Şengün. They just hedge him. That's all they have to do is hedge him. Trap him. He just throws it out.
So outside of Jalen's power is the reason why we're not seeing a lot of that 70% of the time. Because they trap.
He needs to get off of it. If they're hedging, get off of it. If you get off of it to Şengün and let him be the initiator, he's passing.
That's something that's something you're supposed to go over in practice, though.
Yeah,
you're supposed to go over there in practice.
Yes.
Hey, Jalen, you finna get trapped, bro. Hey, LP or Dylan or whoever, Jabari, you need to. If they, this is where you need to be on the court when we run this pick and roll, and then we about to trap Jalen. All right, this is where you need to be so you can be an easy outlet pass. We're gonna hit boom, Şengün at the top of the floor. Then Şengün gonna make the next decision. It's probably gonna be Jabari in the corner, but you got to make that 3-2. Or how about this? How about this, bro? Swap Dylan and Jabari's alignment on the floor. Put Dylan in the corner because Dylan been actually killing it in the corner. All right, cool. Put him in the corner then, and let Jabari be on the wing where he can attack the closeout. He don't necessarily have to shoot on the wing. And anyway, he's better on the wing than he is in the corner. So how about change the alignment up? That part is on email because this trap coming.
Why have we not seen one Jabari Smith screen and pop? Tell me why we have not seen the screen and pop from Jabari Smith. Why does not he screen for Jalen Green and allow Jalen to start being able to get down? It'll open the lane up for him. And never see it. It's like one of the plays that I'm like, man, just go up to the top of the key, put everybody else in the corner, and just screen from him at the top of the key and pop out, flare out, and watch how many times it's open. I mean, we won a game like that. Remember, he hit Fred on that one, and he hit it, made that pass quick. He brought both defenders over, shot the pass over, and Fred knocked down the shot.
See,
that's like an emotion a little bit.
You need to be in the media, bro, because that is a very great question, and no one has asked him that. I don't even know if they got the balls to ask him that because he might swing on him, but
I really don't see a lot of Jabari screening. I wonder if it's just because he's not a good screener.
Bro, he's very uninvolved in the offense.
Right.
I think that's a problem.
Hold on. You know what I just realized?
What's up?
They're pulling a Silas. I don't run very many plays for him. They're doing the same thing. Put him in the corner, ask him to shoot, or they're asking him to do some like weird dribble to the basket type stuff. They're not.
What if he's doing
his strengths?
What if he's just doing that? What if Barry? I mean, let me ask you one question. It's something that. What if Barry is just not a high IQ player? What if he's just a low IQ player, guys?
Then that's
you know what I mean? Because it would make a lot of sense. He doesn't set the right screens in the right place. He doesn't attack the certain way. He doesn't use the proper technique and footwork. He's always lost on defense. He gets back cut on more than anybody I've ever seen. There is a lot of little things there that kind of say, "Hey, bro, you're not like get right here, right?" Like,
is Jabari Smith Jr. this year's Kevin Porter Jr.?
Kevin Porter Jr. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, this is Jabari this year's KPJ. Lost on cuts, not consistent offense the way you want him to play, not making the smartest moves, dribbling weird sometimes, cutting when you don't want him to, bad screens. Sounds like KPJ.
He just has he's reverted back to it. Matter of fact, he's not even playing as good as he did in his rookie year. That's
the only thing I can say that he's done more of inconsistently, but still more than he did last year, is be aggressive, right? And that's what we asked him to do, was to be aggressive.
Yeah, he's been better finishing in the paint this season than previous seasons.
I figured that he'd keep getting better at everything else instead of like taking attributes and just adding them up to, you need to keep growing instead of, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
I ain't got nothing on that, bro.
What's your answer? What's your answer for this starting five? Like, I'd be curious to what y'all think Tari should be going in the starting five or not?
I think we kind of discussed this in the chat, right? Like, if you take Tari away from the starting five, or take Bari away from the starting five, and you're putting Tari in there, what does that make the bench? Like our starting five would have to be the best starting five in the league to make up for the bench.
We had a good bench last year with Amen and Cam coming off of it.
Cam gone now, and Reed Shepherd is.
Hey, wait.
I already said my thoughts on the Reed Shepherd thing, man.
Hey, Amen and Cam last year were like a force. Remember, just like we're talking about with not nearly as defensive as the Tari situation, but man.
But we gotta also remember too, both of those guys like to get to the rim. They play with a lot of energy. Jabari is he's more robotic. It's more of I need to know what I need to do before I do it. Yep. He's not somebody who can improvise.
I agree.
Yeah. Tari can improvise. Like the bench, you need these guys that's coming off the bench. They need to come in ready to guns blaze. That's not Jabari.
Quick thinking?
Yeah, that's not Jabari's game, man. Jabari needs to be in a structured environment. He's not somebody who thrives in a just go figure it out kind of setting. That's not him.
With Jabari, and I brought this up in the chat, but I want to go ahead and put it out. I believe that if you inserted Amen instead of Tari in for Jabari, I think you will open up everybody. I believe it gives Jabari kind of a path. He can start looking at being that real small ball five and really kind of play into that. Stop trying to be this floor spacing floor defender, 3-and-D wing guy. He could just be a small ball five and, knock down open shots, play good defense down low. I know he's going to have to, bulk up a little bit for it to work in total. But that's why I say you do it. Put Cam back at the 3. You can play Tari at the 4, and him and Tari play so well together. They can get the rebounding. They're big enough with Cam on the glass and Amen, and you can play that super fast lineup. I think it gives him more of a direction. If you spread them out, it doesn't have to he has to try to learn to play with Şengün and play with Jalen and play with Fred, and it just seems like it's a lot we're asking him to do at different times. Any given play, you could be asking Jabari to do something completely different. I know what you're saying is stand in the corner, but he needs to cut too. If he's going to stand in the corner, he needs to get to the other corner, especially if Şengün's on that side. So those little things I think would open Jabari up if he can kind of, like you said, play on the wing, play at the top of the key, and watch the action go on a little further away. So I would insert Amen and kind of see how it works and let Jabari come off the bench and give him a little bit more of a few more shots than what he was getting before, not to the 9 that he was getting, but a few more shots in the minutes that he's in, and see how it works.
Jabari goes to the bench.
I was just bringing up the Amen for Bari that I had brought up.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was a better move, and I'm real interested to see it. I know that you don't got, Amen doesn't space the floor, but apparently Şengün supposedly was supposed to, and if we're trying to space the floor with Jalen, right? But we're not spacing the floor if we're running through Şengün. There's not. Amen and Şengün can work good together with him working behind him in the back cut. And I think it's worth a shot. Yeah.
I don't know about that, man, because the way defenses change when Amen is in the game, they don't guard him outside below. They don't guard him outside their free throw line.
Yep.
Anything outside of 15 feet, they're like, "Nah, you got it, bro. Go ahead and prove me wrong."
I wish he would just step into.
He gets the Josh Giddey treatment.
Yeah.
Now he was getting who would we do that to last night?
So how is he not getting it on the bench now? I was so wondering about that. Is that everybody keeps saying he gets this kind of treatment? Well, then that makes him unplayable because he's still coming off the bench. He's still playing.
Now they do it specifically when Şengün is in the game. Specifically,
right?
When he's in the game with Amen, they're like, "Go ahead, do what you do outside of 15 feet, bro. But you come in this paint, you're gonna deal with somebody."
I don't know.
Okay, so then what you're saying is that you really and truly don't believe that Amen and Şengün can play together.
Not with the lack of shooting we have. You can get away with it if we ran different type of sets, but we don't. We could get away with it if Fred was especially Fred. If Fred was more consistent shooting this season, you could get away with it. Because Dylan, I'm good with what Dylan is giving me right now. If he can do this the whole season, no problem. But
Right.
the way we can't shoot right now, I don't like it. I would run a whole lot of DHOs with Şengün and Amen though. I'd run the hell out of some DHOs and have Amen going downhill and trying to find somebody in the corner that can shoot because he can finish in the paint. Because once you run that DHO, you're already going in the paint. Unless you're gonna pull up and shoot, because you're gonna be in a drop. The defender gonna be in a drop. So, you know what I'm saying? And I trust Amen to attack a drop defense.
That's my point. Like I would rather have Amen. I'd rather have Amen in there with the ball in his hands and have Jabari with the ball not in his hands.
No, you're right. I mean, because we really not. And you know what? I think that's really part of the problem on that offense, man. Part of the problem with our offense is we don't use Jabari right.
They're just using that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Nobody moves. There's no off-ball
There's
movement.
nothing happening.
There's no movement. So when you
the only people moving is the people that know they're finna get the ball.
Tories.
Yeah, the two cutters. You know, the guys that are really good at cutting. You know, Jalen needs to cut more. He could help that out a lot.
But they need to force more of that two-man game with him and Şengün. They don't. See what I'm saying? Like, again, this is my biggest problem with Ime is this communist offense, bro. It's a communist offense. This is a communist offense, bro. This doesn't work. It doesn't. Well, not on this team. The communist offense don't work. We need to know. Hey, we got our 1A and 1B, Şengün and Jalen. Everybody else, y'all fall in line outside of that. If anything, option B gonna be Jabari, but Jabari gotta take advantage of that. I think part of the reason why he's been knocked down a peg is because he ain't been hitting nothing outside of layups. Even some of them he ain't hitting. So, but I think the hierarchy problem, I think, is a problem. Fred should not be in the top 3 in the hierarchy. He should not. I'm sorry. I don't care how many millions you make in this season, bro. I love you to death. I really do, Fred. But then again, I don't blame Fred sometimes because if he's forced to be aggressive because the rest of the team isn't, have at it, bro. If he sees that the team is kind of lackadaisical, that's when he starts to try to be over aggressive. So if Jalen and Şengün take it upon themselves to not allow Fred to get into that mode, we wouldn't have to worry too much about this. But
this is an example of a play here that I think is phenomenal.
You're right, Chris. No, go ahead, Drip.
Yeah, this is a play that we saw against the Pistons that worked very well, which involved, you guessed it, Jalen and Şengün. We all remember this from the Pistons. But
took that pass away. Şengün sets the pick, comes around it, drops it back to him
immediately. Something I wanna say here is look how many defenders these two draw, and every time they run pick and roll, we see it. When these two run pick and roll, I mean, look how many people are on there.
Rewind it a little bit more. Rewind a little bit more, bro.
See this?
I'm gonna show you something. Keep going until they at half court. Keep going.
Right here.
All right, right here. Look how much time is on the clock, and they're already on the other side of the court. Look how much time is on the shot clock. 20, right? And they go immediately into the set, right? Go ahead, run it. Boom. And why do you run it? Why do you run that pick and roll so quick? Because the defense is still trying to figure out who to match up with.
Guys, look who's not on the court.
Jabari.
And if you really look at the play, you have Amen. Right now, if you got it frozen, you have Reed will be wide open for 3. You have Amen getting ready to get a lob. And you have Tari Eason in the corner ready for a wide open 3.
You have all 5 defenders looking between either Şengün, right this second Şengün.
All 5 defenders, the bench.
Jalen. Look at this. All 5. Look at this.
They're all looking at him.
And now Şengün got options.
Yeah.
Şengün has options. So if you pause it right here, he can hit Reed in the wing. They don't want a man to go up for this lob. He can take it himself, or he can have Tari in the opposite corner. But obviously, he took it himself because he's like, man, this little man can't stop me.
Around it, drops it back to him.
Man, eat these nuts.
What happened? You know why that was like that? It's because Pistons are too young. It was this was going to be early in the substitution patterns, right? Look how much time is left on the clock. It's early in the substitution patterns. They hadn't initiated the hard hedge on Jalen yet. Trap on the pick and roll.
Yeah.
So you have young players that didn't. He was supposed to trap. Who is that? 7? Is that Paul Reed? He was supposed to trap Jalen on the. Every time Jalen starts getting hot, all you have to do is trap him on a pick and roll or two, and then they won't run it anymore.
Like right here.
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then
Paul Reed.
as
He's supposed
soon
to
as
be
they initiate the hard hedge on Jalen Green with the big, that completely takes them out of the action. They don't.
But look at
it.
Fontecchio. Look at Fontecchio.
You don't even know
he's trying to figure out who to match up with. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got up half court quick. You got past the half court mark with 21 seconds left to run your offense.
Look,
Why? But, and I'm saying this for a reason. You know who's not on the floor? Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet ain't crossing that half court line until 16 seconds.
That's right.
And then how much time you got before they get into the damn offense? This is part of the problem.
That's my problem. Regardless whether it's a miss or pulling it from under the goal, Fred.
They gotta have a sense of urgency. Like, you know, these dudes is they're gonna trap whoever the ball handler is, especially if it's Jalen Green. How about we get up on in our sets a lot faster, and I've noticed that we get in our sets a lot faster when Fred's not on the floor. It don't even matter whoever the hell else is on the floor. When it's not Fred, we get in there a lot faster. So how about we do a whole lot more outlet passing? How about that? Why don't we do more of that? You can't tell me Şengün doesn't have the IQ to do that. We can't.
Yep.
Didn't he do it at the end of the second half of this and threw it away like 3 times?
Good, cool. I'm all right with it.
Yeah,
I can live with that. I can live with that, bro. I can live with that because you're like, hey, we trying to get it going. We're not finna wait for y'all to come back and play defense. Nope. We finna put some fear in your heart that you need to get back on defense. Otherwise, we finna score.
Yep.
Like, we need that. We need that mentality preached to all of these guys, man. You watch the Warriors, bro? I don't even got to talk about that. Warriors don't even have like the level of athletes that we have on this team.
Yeah, but you're also talking about the world-class coach.
We forget, well,
offensive-based coach too.
Yeah, this is Ime's 3rd season as a coach. This is supposed to be his leap season as a coach too, though, huh?
Ask John.
Coaches have leap seasons too, right?
Let's ask Lucas. He was supposed to have already broke out, man. I mean, it's really going to depend on whether or not we start knocking down shots or not, whether Ime Udoka is going to get a pass by the end of the year. It really is.
Yeah. And
this game right here is going to be, in my eyes, this is a huge basketball game. I don't care who they're playing, but you're starting 2 non-shooters, which y'all just argued doesn't work. I want to see what Amen Thompson looks like in the starting lineup, especially with, like you said, with 2 non-shooters. Can he put together an offense that's somewhat respectable? I think he can, because I think Amen's going to look to push, and I think Jalen's going to look to push, and I think they're going to get some easy buckets. Now, if they look good tonight, what are we moving forward? Now I got what's his name said that.
I mean, full disclosure, everybody that's watching, because we're probably not gonna upload this on the 11th of November, 2024. But full disclosure, we're at the 10-game mark. Well, we're at the 11-game mark now. We're playing the Warriors tonight. We're recording it a little earlier.
Warriors.
So, I said the Warriors, the Wizards. My bad. I said Warriors. Why would I disrespect the Warriors like that? I'm so sorry, man. That's bad. The Wizards are underneath trash. They like you. Have you ever seen like the underneath of a BFI trash container? Like, that's the Wizards.
Yeah.
He pulling out that chart from Shark Tales. There's whale poop, and then there's you. That's what you just said.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. I just want to see if the offense looks clunky. I want to see that whether or not we're taking good shots, or if we're starting the offense in 20 seconds, or we're starting the offense at 12.
Chris,
I just kind of want to see how it's looking different.
Chris, if it looks really good, say that first quarter looks not phenomenal, but really, really solid. No Fred VanVleet. And then it continues to carry, generally speaking, throughout the rest of the game. And we win. What does that mean for Fred?
We need more of a sample size.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is that
Good or
right
bad?
now?
Good or bad?
Right now, all we have is a ton of Fred VanVleet, right? And we don't have any of that. I mean, I've seen a little bit of it, and I'm very keen to see this. Is when he's off the court, how does it look? And it's looked really good, especially when Tari's been on the floor with Amin. So, and it will also get to see what Tari looks like coming off the bench without Amin. You know, that would be
I ain't worried about that. I know what I'm gonna get from Tari.
Well, that's been the whole argument, right? It hadn't been the argument that they are so good together. So you don't want to kind of take away that little punch. I'm going to be interested to see how he works the rotations without Cam Whitmore. Cam still can't play. So, and Fred, I know that they're just talking about it being rest, but I after Ime's press conference, it might not just be rest. It made Fred felt.
I think Fred dealing with something.
Yeah, he said he felt something last night.
Okay, I ain't listened to the post-game interviews last night.
No. He said that in the
pre-game interview.
Yeah, he just said it.
Okay.
I'm not liking that. I don't know, man. I think if a player dealing something like that low key and he's saying he's feeling something, I won't even say it's the media. That's just me.
All right.
But
right.
that's what we got for now, right?
So
Yeah,
it's probably one of those things. He's like, fine, y'all wanted to see it. Here you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with it. But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. Any final thoughts on this topic, or we just going? Are we good?
Let's go on to the Wizards. I'm ready.
Are y'all out on Ime?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no. I just call a spade a spade. Like if something good or bad, I'm gonna say it like I see it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Y'all know
I
how
will
I
say.
do.
I will say.
You're extending him tomorrow?
Whoa, hold on.
What you mean? You know what?
Udoka right now.
Would I extend him?
Right now.
Right now.
Oh,
Yes.
pause.
God, dog. Ooh, I didn't realize that was a pause. Yeah, we gotta go on that one, man. we out of here on that one, man. Appreciate everybody. If you still with us at this point, you like what you saw, go and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment for us down below. Let us know if you want to see a little bit more of the three-headed monster.
Let us know if you want to watch AK extend Ime.
Dog, you know what? We ended it on that note right there. Bye. Be easy, my peoples.
Peace. Let's get a Rockets win.